Have you gotten over this thing yet?
Well, no, I'm still working on it. We still have to finish the sound, but it was 90% there.
I like this article they've got about you in GQ. It says your face is, although I don't see it today, the eyes look like many sleepless nights, although your eyes are very clear today, I've noticed.
Yeah, well, I think at that time it was like pretty soon after the film had finished and I was a raving lunatic.
Were you ever scared during the making of this thing that you weren't going to be able to pull it off?
Oh, well, yeah, particularly before we went. That's when you have time to be scared. Once you're involved in it and up to your elbows in the mud and the blood, you know.
You were a little preoccupied when we interviewed for Maverick, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
You had your mind in Scotland, I think.
I was on it, yeah. Yeah, I'd been on it for a while by then anyway.
Do you ever ask yourself, I mean, you're working 20 hours a day and you're working so hard on a movie like this, do you ever just say, you know, I don't know if I can do this today?
Of course. But you manage to sort of drag it out from someplace, and it comes from sheer love of what you're doing. I mean, if you're enjoying what you're doing, that's...
Oh, I enjoy a lot of things, but I just can imagine how... You made me tired watching this movie. I said,
oh, yeah.
And this guy ain't a whole lot younger than me, and he's acting like he's about 18 up there on those things. Did you ever feel your age on any given day?
Yeah, a couple of times. I had to do sort of a jump mount one day, and I nearly ripped it. Do you ever do those muscles on the inner thigh?
Oh, there's something that goes on here.
That's not nice, and it takes like 8 weeks to like really get well, and I kept redoing it all the time. It became a real problem. So that's when you realize you're not 23 anymore. And also when you're like running up the hill with a bunch of 19-year-olds and they're all trying to beat you. Mm. And you have to
this movie looks like it's kind of one of those movies that could have gotten out of control and been one of the biggest messes of all time. I mean, you turned it into a crystal chandelier. It's a beautiful film and great, but it looks like it was kind of one of those horses that could have gotten out of control.
No, couldn't possibly. Absolutely. Well, it had all the earmarks of being that, but that was only if people's egos got involved to a greater degree, I think. And we had fine producers. Hey, I was one of them.
You had a great team, photography, and it's a beautiful film, too. You had a Academy Award-winning folks behind the scenes.
Well, it was interesting that when we were doing the scoring over in London, I was up at 3 a.m. and I turned on the Academy Awards, and the guy that shot my film won the Oscar, John. And I was like, hey, who would have known, you know? Except I sort of suspected that he would get it because he's damn good. You know, with that kind of team around you, it's fantastic.
You still stop smoking?
No. And yes, I'm not smoking
you're
now.
not smoking right now. I mean, you gave it up and you started again? And
I gave it up, I take it up, I give it up, I take it up. I figure this kind of alternation, maybe in 10 years I would have spent 8 of them not smoking.
Who's pushing you to quit?
Me.
Oh, you want to stop?
Oh, yeah.
Any recommendations, even though you're not terribly successful at it yet, on how to stop smoking? Just quit?
Just quit, yeah. Just cold turkey.
And even though you're a nervous wreck, was that when you started back again because during the editing or some of that?
Yeah, there's a kind of a funny time in there for about 3 weeks where you're kind of off the wall, kind of like withdrawing. That's almost pleasant because it's exhilaratingly, you act kind of insane and you tend to maybe offend people a little bit because it's a little off the wall, but it's, and cranky. I gave an interview once when I was like that, and it's just the stuff that comes out. You think, oh, you want to take it back because it's the withdrawal speaking.
Now, did you go off? I read this great article in GQ. I thought it was a very interesting article. You went kind of nuts one day when the extras hit you in the face. There's this great ending scene where they're throwing stuff at you, and you weren't too happy about that?
Man, you ever been hit in the head at, like, you know,
with potatoes and whatever they're
potatoes
throwing?
and cabbages and stuff, like if somebody's hurling them at you.
I mean, for real, they're doing this.
Yeah, and like, you know, you think they're going to take it easy, but like, no, they just went bananas, you know.
And then when you yelled cut, what happened? Or did you yell cut? I guess you did.
Oh no, I let the shot play, but I was really angry. I got up and I thought, am I stupid for letting this happen, or are people really winding up like baseball pitches and letting me have it?
Now, are you fun to be around when you really lose it? Is that something we need to go in the other room when you go crazy for at least a few minutes? Possible?
I'm pretty mild most of the time,
but when you go nuts?
It's horrible. Yes, I am.
Because it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, we need to hide.
Yeah, but it gets their attention. You know, if you're not sort of screaming all the time and you're
because you're a fun guy, making jokes and doing all that. Do they know you're serious when you go nuts, or they think you're acting?
No, they first of all they start laughing and then they go, fuck, you know. Oh, they go.
They thought it was you being crazy, pretending to be crazy, right?
Yeah. So But yeah, and I don't like losing it either, because you always feel like
Oh, that's not fun.
You feel like a potato afterwards. You sort of have to go around and, oh, sorry, I yelled at you.
Now, if anybody does any bad reviews on this thing, what are you going to do? You having plans for those people?
You read that
I
article.
love that. You got an odorless, tasteless pesticide you're going to try out on them. Huh?
Yeah, but that's fictional.
But that's why I told you that I liked the movie up front, because I didn't want anybody to slip a Mickey to me before we get going here. All right, we'll tell everybody in Nashville hello for you.
Oh, well, thanks.
They still don't want you to sing, I'm sorry to say.
Hey, the writer's from Tennessee.
That's right. We don't want you to sing. Did you hear that?
Okay.
We don't want you to sing
Okay, I
anymore.
won't sing.
Don't-